I got an early first look at the long-awaited brand new Lord of the Rings set for adults, Minas Tirith. And we can see that this thing is going to be pretty massive. I'm in the process of building it when this goes live, but I'll share my initial impressions that I noted down when this arrived and run you through what you need to know before you start saving up. Okay, so check this out. I noticed this right away. The front of the set gives you the epic size of the city with tiny buildings spread out everywhere. It has what's known as a micro-scale design to it, which you usually see in LEGO's architecture line. And here's a quick side-by-side with the amazing Neuschwanstein Castle, where you get that same tiny building look, but Minas Tirith takes it further. Like, a lot further, and it also adds the epic rock formation that we see here protruding from the middle of the city. It looks super intricate and very detailed. You are going to be living with a lot of tiny pieces for a while, so get your fingers ready. They're going to get a little sore. You know, this is the fourth set in LEGO's premium Lord of the Rings lineup. We started with the incredible Rivendell, then the evil tower itself, Barad Dur, and most recently the Shire. So this is a new entry in a lineup that's already had some satisfying releases, and I'll get into how that matters here in a second. But back to this set. From this top-down angled perspective, there are so many details that bring out the level of depth that we're getting here. From this angular wedge-shaped area at the top, to the buildings cascading down the side of the structure, all the way down to the courtyard area beyond the front gate. As my eyes bounce around back and forth, there's a lot to look at here. Lord of the Rings has been one of my favorite franchises for as long as I can remember, and seeing little touches like this Tree of Gondor make these builds hit the nostalgia part of my brain pretty hard. But enough nerding out. When you flip the set around, we get a scene on the interior that's scaled to the minifigures. Pretty cool that we're going to get two different types of experiences with this. It's not often you get both an architecture style and a familiar LEGO build in one set. Given the size of this thing, it does look like we'll be tackling it in smaller modules which connect to each other, and that always makes the build quite enjoyable and less overwhelming. It also makes it easier to move around to another shelf space or to another room. These techniques were used with both Rivendell and Barad Dur, so it's awesome to see that here too. And with over 8,000 pieces, modules are kind of a must, otherwise you'll be staring down a single instruction book the size of a phone book, which I just realized isn't a thing anymore, and now I feel old. Before I wither away from old age, I've also been looking closely, and I think this will make some fans happy. I don't see any stickers anywhere, and that can definitely make a large build like this go a lot smoother. And I'm looking pretty hard. I don't see any. I'll know for sure when I open this thing up, and maybe we'll lose some storytelling, but it will speed things up quite a bit. You know, and looking through this, I am curious to see how the pacing feels between the microscale architecture sections and the minifig scale interior. Those are two pretty different building experiences, and the order that LEGO's going to have you tackle them can change how the build flows. This is something else to keep in mind, and you got to be a fan of this to enjoy it. Not everyone likes the open back designs, which I won't judge you, but I do like how we can display the minifigs back here. So if you wanted to display the set from the side, it would still look good. I would imagine that we'll want to display it from the front though to show off the impressive city scale. The throne room area looks pretty cool. It has a good amount of detail to put together. The top section of this room has some interesting design patterns, and I'm getting kind of like some Barad Dur vibes with this setup. Speaking of Barad Dur, I bought it back in 2025, and that crazy thing was like 3 feet tall and made me restructure the area that I film in. It was a completely different project from Rivendell, and it did include some mechanics that made the build really satisfying. And I'm bringing that up because I don't see anything from a quick glance that would suggest any interactivity here, but that would be cool to see when I dig into the actual build. This Minas Tirith build has a lot to live up to. The Shire couldn't quite get there for a lot of fans, and I haven't built that one yet myself, but I do hope to tackle it eventually and get my own take on it. But going into it, Rivendell is still the bar for me, as I'm sure it is for a ton of you out there as well. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you haven't experienced it yet, I mean, it is just like a complete experience. Between the size, the tree work, epic scenes, and that crazy detailed roof, which hurt every one of my fingers. It does look nice though. but we'll see if this Minas Tirith set can clear the bar. We do have a handful of minifig scenes to recreate moments from the movies, which does give us variety away from the intricate architecture-y type building techniques. We're also getting 10 minifigs and a horse to set up our scenes and bring personality to the build. Now, I am no expert on these by any means, so you'll have to let me know what you think, but I would imagine that they'll be spaced out throughout the build to bring us a balanced sense of pacing. Speaking of pacing, you're going to need a ton of that with this set, along with a lot of time on your hands because we're looking at over 8,000 pieces. It's officially the largest Lord of the Rings set ever made. We're also looking at a set that's about 2 feet wide and 2 feet tall. It's not as tall as Barad Dur, but I have a feeling it's going to be a rather dense set. And given that we have so many pieces, we're looking at roughly 40 to 50 hours to put this thing together. So it's easily a 2 to 4 week project, depending on how much of your free time you're willing to throw at it. It's going to be released on June 1st, and I don't have the pricing details at the moment, but I'll try to include it above if I have it in time. We're also getting this gift with purchase bundled along with the release with some orcs that are trying to ruin the party, so if this interests you, it's something that you want to keep in mind. I'm planning on covering this in my upcoming in-depth video, and hopefully that's helpful. So what are your initial thoughts? For those that have been asking for Minas Tirith, did they deliver on what you had in mind? And now that we have this in the lineup, I mean, where do we go from here? I do have the full build of Rivendell on my other channel with more of a chill vibe to it, so if you want to relive that amazing experience, you can check it out in the video on the left. And of course, I have plenty of other sets for adults on this channel over here on the right. As always, thanks for checking out this set with me, and until next time, I will catch you in the next one.